Alrighty, it looks like I am live. So let us begin. So we're just gonna continue what I was working on yesterday, which was basically a cleanup of uh, some C++ style C code in the Vis editor. And just see what I was exactly what I was working on. Um, so yesterday we finished off. We started making this selection structure unopaque. So we removed a lot of these like this. We removed a couple like setters and getters and replaced them. And I think there's like quite a few more that can also be removed. Um, Before we get to that, I think I might have introduced a bug um, yesterday. So let's see. So yeah, so in main.c, in the join function, so I was umming and ahhing about this yesterday, and actually maybe it's better to look at the diff, but so basically what's happening now is we're not actually checking anymore if this.action.count is less than 0. Or sorry, is exactly, yeah, so if it's less than 0, it still just gets passed along to the this motion. But that could be like incorrect if somehow this action.count became less than 0. Now I tried to make this happen. I don't really know how to do that. It's possible you can only do that programmatically, like possibly via Lua. I think even there we're like checking if it's unsigned, so I'm not even sure it's possible to set the count to be less than 0. And I also don't even really understand why this count member is I guess it's like unsigned just so you can have an error state where it's an unknown state where it's set to -1. I guess that's the only reason why it'd be signed. But so assuming that, um, we should still just go ahead and let's open this.h and see what these macros were that I defined. Default. So if count is equal to unknown, we set it to count. I think that's fine. We don't really need to worry about normalize. So like I said, I don't really think you can get let's actually let's look at what the diff was before. So that was in this one. So join. Yeah, so this count default basically this count default, if the count was -1, it gets set to 0. If it was any other negative value, nothing happens. Maybe it should be checked. Maybe it shouldn't be checked. But in any case, this count default. So we can go back into main and this.h default. So if it was unknown, we set it to 0. So go down to join. So first things first is to say this.action.count equals this count default. This.action.count 0. And then we go here. If it's not equal to 0, we can subtract 1. Really, I'll just leave it as if greater than 0. What the join action does is it just does this. If you use capital J, it's an action that's in normal VI as well. And you can give it a count, but as is indicated by this code here, it's a little strange. So if you give it a count of 2, it still only joins a single line. Now this is like strictly in line with the behavior of Vim, which you could argue is not really correct, but I'll just leave it as is for now. So that is that. So that'll be that. I will just make sure I didn't do anything dumb. So yeah, let's just add main.c, some commit that I will just do with the rebase. So just use that as a fix up. I haven't pushed any of these commits yet, so don't really mind rebasing and squashing some of this. So if you haven't used rebase before, obviously you can use it to squash commits, or I don't usually use squash commits because it'll ask you to merge the commit messages. Usually I just use it for fix up. So fix up just exactly the same as squash, except it just ignores whatever this commit message was and just keeps the commit message from the command or the commit you're fixing. We will do that. So now that's no longer I got squashed into this commit. So next we will go back to this selection thing. So in view.h, oops, not even view.h, in view.c, selection calls all maybe. Remember there was like a this one, yeah, here, view cursor cell gap. So this function we can get rid of. So if we just do this, it's only being used in 2 places. So we get rid of that. Now, arguably, it could just be a macro. Cursor cell gap is the cursor selection. Open view.h cursors cell gap. So yeah, actually this is a little strange. So in this documentation we have like a warning that you need to check if it's -1. So it's not really a very helpful function if you just have to check it anyways. So we will see about refactoring these other ones. So I will delete this. And we will go ahead and go to this.c318. So as you can see, we're already checking here. View to cursors line get. That here as well. yeah, so this function also is just going to get removed. So cell to, oops, cursor to line. And then if not line return, otherwise we don't need this. So this is all that function was doing before. Cell get. Yeah, so if the line was, if line was null, we return -1, but here we're just going to return anyways, so get rid of that. And we will go line, or sorry, cursor to column. And really, we probably don't even need that one. Directly, just get rid of that variable altogether. Yeah, that's that one. Invis dot c u dot c u dot h main dot c. So main dot c 1292. Let's just make sure I'm not having issues here. So if not S2 line continue, otherwise S to column, S to column, S to column. That should be good. Line get, did I delete? I deleted that one. Line get. That. And we will do egg first. What's it called? Line cursors line get. Cursors line get. Oops. Name that. So in save that. Close that for now. And we will edit this.c 262. Well, so here's a problem. Okay, so yeah, actually, no, we don't need to check here. So the primary selection always has to point somewhere, so the line is never going to be null. So we didn't need to check there. We can just do that. Cell to line number. We actually use cell anywhere here. No, we just use it to get the line number. So to look at what this function does. Well, I'm not really too sure what this variable does off the top of my head, so I won't mess around with that just yet. But so that is fine. UI terminal.c, go to 60, not to 60, not to 50. Constant line cursors line. So again, line, cell to line. And then is cursor line being used here anywhere? No. So was the last one of that. So let's just close this. Cursor line. Yes, that is not being used, so we can just get rid of this indirection. Just clean up that variable. So let's make sure everything here is gonna compile without any errors. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of both of those functions. Get rid of this extra check for -1. Good. So we can add those. U.h. Add that to that commit in progress. Let's just go here. So we're down to this is only 1400 lines now. It's nice. Scroll through here and see what else I can spot. View selections get. So view is no longer opaque, so this was kind of missed before. Well, so view selections get, what does this one? Oh, it's right below. This function does like actually do something useful. But this one here does not. So so yeah, that is fine. Can delete that one. So view to selections get view to selection. Look at that. Selection get primary selection. Need that. So next, close that, close that. We'll continue looking. Oops. Let me press that key. View the cursor's position. Rename that. Okay, well, this is like see if this was being compiled as like a single um translation unit, Unity build, this would definitely just get completely removed. You'd never see this call anywhere. Now, as it is now, it might not be getting removed from the generated binary. So we can make like a debug and see. Actually, we don't want to make it debug. We just want to have debug symbols. I'm gonna add -g gdb g3, or I think usually I just use g3, but we'll just do this. And we'll do an obj dump -e that's tell this class view cursor position. So okay, so view cursor position still exists. However, the text get call is just being inlined. So you see there's like no call, text get, whatever. There is a jump here to text mark get. Move RSI keyword pointer plus 40. That's the no, so actually it isn't. So this is loading the variables into these registers, like those dereference variables, and then there's got to be like a test at the start. There'd normally be like some sort of test at the start of this function, I'm assuming. And that test just got moved here instead. And then if that test fails, we don't go to this function. Otherwise, we go to this function. So let's see here. And you can see there's like a ton of this padding here. So since this isn't inline and this function needs to be like aligned properly, probably for, I'm not actually sure why. I'll have to look at like the ELF layout specification, but basically this is all padding so that it aligns along this what would this be, like 0x40 boundary? I'm not really sure why. 0x40, what is that in decimal? So BC, I base 16, O base 10. 0x4, just 40. Well, that's not gonna help me. 40 should just be 4 times 256. So 958. I'm not really sure why it needs to be lined up on that boundary, but it is fine for now. I do want to see what this function looks like though. So text mark get is called all over the place, but where is the actual function defined? Where is text mark? It's definitely up. The address is like above here, so this is actually the function. Here we go. Yeah, okay. So that's fine. Let's look at this function. It's getting used in test a bunch. We view text.c. I don't know which one of these tests it was that got moved. Probably, yeah, who knows actually. One of these got moved. I am a little tempted to remove that v cursor position function because well, I'll leave it for now. View cursor's position. View cursor scroll to. Yeah, here's this weird thing again. So I can almost guarantee that so as to view is probably the same as this view pointer right here. It's kind of just like a, probably a useless variable, but anyways. So those are kind of helpful functions, helper functions. I Okay. I think here is looking too unnecessary. View cursor to definitely unnecessary now. View cursor to is used all over the place. This line is particularly strange to me. Because this is just gonna do view cursors to. There's this other function with an S. View cursors to. Very interesting. Well, I'll just add a to-do to clean that up after, because that is a strange use case of that. So view cursor to. Let's use in a lot of places. Let's delete the function first. Move cursor to character at position bytes from beginning of file if position is not in viewport. Redraw to make it visible. Yeah, that we don't really need this wrapper for that anymore. Do that, and then we'll do view cursor to we'll just select all of those, and then we'll do this selection. Oops. Sorry, we don't want to do that actually. Okay. View cursor to. So we want to do this. We want to do view cursors to, and just do selection. On this 672, I'm just gonna put a comment there. It's like a little bit down. So right above here. Fix me. Does this logic make sense? So view cursor. Just close that for now. Just want to see, make sure I didn't do something. Yeah. So yeah. So it's fine. Actually, maybe that function should have been, or maybe I already deleted it from here. So, oh, that's my bad. Highlighting the wrong function. Okay, so I have to check what that last comment is, but go here first. Place cursor of selection at position. Probably take the comment from the other one. Let's mark that. Oops. Primary position was not visible before we attempt to show the surrounding content. Holding the primary cursor is shown in the middle of the window. So the rest of this is not necessary. And we're going to edit view.c. Disable that thing, but move visible viewport and lines up down redraws the view but does not change the cursor position, which becomes invalid and should be corrected by calling view cursor to, or view cursors to, it doesn't really matter. The return value indicates whether the visible area changed. I'm just gonna edit this. Window swapping for now. Gonna use Lua. Get rid of this adjust layout. So next time I open and close it, I'll be commented out. View this prompt. Let's see. And we want to go to 205. Base cursors to selection position. This.c to 452. Cursors to wind view to selection. View cursor get original view. Weird. That might also be getting deleted soon. For main.c, there's a bunch. So view cursor to selection. So it's all of those ones. Oops. This modes. Let's see. 216. 215, 216. Cursors. Selection. I'm not gonna wrap that. Sam.c 1298. This to win to view selection. So many pointer dereferences. How annoying. So far, let me just finish cleaning up these ones. But so far I've deleted a few hundred lines of code, I think. It's like almost 200 lines maybe. And in terms of binary size, well, before it was around 7 kilobytes worth of, so around 7 kilobytes worth of binary have been removed, have been shrunk without any loss of, or without any change of functionality. Oops. This commands.c 879. We'll give an update here right after I am finished with this one. So that was all of those. Oops, I made a typo. This underscore. Oh, that's a problem. This underscore arrow. Yeah. That was dumb. What happened there? View to selection, view to selection, view to selection here. This view, this. I see. I see what happened there. So that's okay. Yes, I can. So, where's a good place to just show this? So here's one example that I haven't got around to fixing yet. So this struct UI is basically just this giant table of pointers. And the reason it's done like this is because there's a ton of opaque structs everywhere. So for example, that selection struct that I was fixing is to selection. This should be the end here. Same thing. You go at the end. So there was a selection struct. That selection struct was completely opaque, which means that outside of the translation unit it's defined, you're not allowed to access any of its members. Um, so that's like one way of basically creating like a private variable, or sorry, like a private member using only C. So like you're not using like a C++ class. Um, but then what ends up happening is that because it's now opaque, anytime you want to access some member of that, you have to go and define some function that basically just does like a get. It's just a getter, um, which is kind of ugly, and really it just adds a lot of extra code that doesn't really do anything besides saving the programmer. Um, it doesn't really save the programmer or anything. It just makes it more annoying for the programmer. Um, so view this. Yes. That is not what the function's called. 1907. View.this, and then view this view. Okay. There we go. So now if we do a little this dot master master. Oh, sorry, I have debug symbols. You get rid of the debug symbols to do this comparison. So now we are up to around 8 kilobytes worth of binary that's been removed. So it's hard to just like directly translate that into like total instructions the CPU has to execute, but it's probably like a couple thousand instructions that have just been removed. They've basically done nothing besides it's just it's just code bloat basically. So let me let's make sure this is still running, but I don't really think there's a problem. Yeah. So this view.h. So what I'm doing right now is actually probably going to make it run faster because you're not going to have, there's not as many like pointers. So basically anytime you have to go through a pointer, there's a chance for the CPU to have like a cache miss. And also, if you're using function pointers like that, the compiler can't inline any of that code because it doesn't know you could have changed the function pointer at runtime. And if you did that, the compiler would have no idea that you did that. So it has to just explicitly emit a call to that function everywhere, as opposed to inlining it. So if it was a really small function, it would have got inlined, and then it would have definitely been faster. So yeah, that is one thing. Let's take a look at how much code's been deleted from master, because there's a bunch of commits. So yeah, now we're up to 250 lines of code that have been deleted, which is nice. If master. So most of this stuff. So there was like this function pointer table that I deleted, and then just tons of these functions that just do one thing. This count get. It returns this count because maybe before this wasn't visible outside of this one translation unit. There's some that are like definitely like that. So yeah, this like window pointer. So I think the window pointer was also opaque. So I don't know if I actually switched that. Um, yeah, like stuff like this, like view color column get view. Like this is like no less readable than view to color column. Especially because this function doesn't do any checking. So like maybe view was null. It can actually be null in this case, but if it was null, maybe you'd want to check for that. We know it can't be null, so there's no difference from calling this function versus just directly returning or directly accessing the color column um, variable that's in this view structure. Um, and then there was stuff like this. So this event emit function. It's basically here to serve. So if you compile this without Lua, most of the functions that are called here just are wrapped with like we're just being wrapped with like what's it called, like stub functions. But I added this event basic so that instead of if you don't want to compile with Lua, you'd compile this version. And the only event that actually gets handled if you don't compile with Lua is this event win status, which basically just tells the status bar that it needs to update. All the other ones do not get handled in the case where you don't have Lua enabled. So there's no reason to have like some giant function that just does all those operations unnecessarily. Um, you could just do this with this much shorter function, and then also that means that um, this lua.c. So if we go to event emit, what that also means is that now since this is implemented here, all these functions like this lua window open, these are all defined in this vislua.c file. And open. So here, but since it's just defined here and it's a static, it's only visible in this translation unit. The compiler can just inline that function here, and it avoids having to call a function unnecessarily for no benefit. Because if the function's not being called anywhere else, it's only being called in this one location. Obviously, like I'm just jumping between the two places where this name shows up. If it's only being called in one location, and there's no reason for the compiler to emit a bunch of code to restore, like save and restore the stack and do a bunch of nonsense like that. It can just directly inline it and probably even remove some of these checks. So some of these things might have already been checked. Though maybe not in this case specifically, but in some of the other cases, there'll be like some checks that aren't necessary. That's nice. Now you could argue I could just inline all that code here directly, but this actually serves as documentation for the Lua interface. So if you look at like the Lua, we have like a web page that has all the Lua API documented. That's just generated from this code. So instead of just inlining that and making a giant function, we'll just leave it separated like this. So view.c. If we go to view.c here, skip over this giant function. Think we're mostly done with the selection cleanup. So that was all in here. Yeah, so I've already looked at this. So that's all the selection cleanup. So next, what we might want to do is look at this UI win. probably this UI win pointer next, which is again a function table pointer. UI terminal.h, no, UI.h. Yeah, this is another table of function pointers. Now this might be getting used in a weird way, which I'll have to check. First, I'm just gonna pause for a second and go and have a washroom break. How long have I been programming? I started programming in high school, but I wasn't like super serious about it. Um, I'd say like the length of time I've been programming C, the amount of time I've been programming C like seriously, maybe 3 or so years. Um, Basically when I started doing uh maybe a bit more than maybe 4 to 5 years. Um, I haven't done any like serious work with like graphics programming. I've only started doing that recently actually. But in terms of just regular C programming, or like programming like microcontrollers and stuff, I've been doing that for quite a few years now. Um, Now I'm not like the best at explaining everything. Sometimes there's like really weird stuff that's going on. So this UI win is one of those instances. If we look at where this is being used, UI win, UI win. Yeah, so again, UI term win is not even defined outside of this file, as far as I'm aware. Let me see here. Yeah, so UI term win is not visible anywhere outside of this file. Now, since that's the case, we do something really weird here. So in C, a pointer to the first member of a struct is equivalent to a pointer to that struct itself. So wherever we define something with this UI win variable, or this UI win struct, actually that's in the view. So it's open view.h as well here. UI win. So when the view is initialized, it calls like some UI init function which puts a pointer here in this UI member. Now this is a UI win pointer, so the only thing you can see through there, assuming it's not opaque, which I think it actually might be opaque as well, so you might not even be able to see anything there. If it's not opaque, then only these functions are visible. But actually, all of those pointers, wherever this is just getting defined, are actually pointers to this UI term win. Now, if you put this UI win struct here as the first member, and you take a pointer to a UI win, that is the same as a UI term win. So later on, when we want to just go and use this anywhere, like in this UI style define function, you can cast the pointer to UI win to UI term win and get access to the rest of these variables that are actually after that member in memory. Now, I find that to be like extremely, extremely ugly. Also, yeah, even if I know it just is, it's like valid, technically valid C. I'm not like a fan of doing things like this because it really hides the intent of what you're doing. Um, Now, I think this is actually like similar to something you can do in like object-oriented languages, specifically in C++. I think this is like if you take if you have a class that inherits from that wouldn't even make sense. So if you have a class that inherits from a base class, um, you can explicitly cast that class to the base class, and it's fine. But usually, I don't think you can go the other way. I don't think you can go from the base class um, to the derived class and expect stuff to work properly. But anyways, that is basically what is happening here. So I think the first step is to just um, get rid of UI term win. UI term win is just going to become UI win. And we will just add, let's close this. We will just yeah, so we will get rid of all of this and just shove this all into this UI win struct. Now the order of this doesn't matter anymore, but I'm going to put the function pointers here. The function pointers are all going to get deleted. I don't really like having these function pointers. It's just, yeah, redirection for no reason. But for now, we will do that. And we will delete this UI term win. So anywhere where we're just doing that, we will have to do it manually to make sure I don't make any mistakes here. We can rename this to win, get rid of W. That is just taking a term win. Just delete that. Rename this to win. Delete that, rename this to win. Delete. Delete. Oops. It's gonna get named that. New, old, oops, and this needs to be renamed. Get rid of that one. So now this is going to be more clear as to what is actually just going on here. This weird casting of pointers and hoping it makes any sense. So no, this is actually this. So the editor I'm working on is this, which I should have a link here I can post in the chat. So it stands for VI plus SAM. So there's a lot of similarities with Vim, but there's a few differences which specifically like with regards to like SAM commands, which I have been using. I'm not using here though because I want to make sure I don't make any mistakes here. UI term win. We don't need that. Term win. So now we have to do a little bit of a different thing here, but that is okay. So, yeah, this is no longer like this. We just have to take all of these and do win to that. And we delete that one, delete that. Also, I need semicolons after all of this. Oops. Okay, so that's good. We'll delete that. We're gonna name these to win. This one should be win. This one should be win. Okay. Now we will see if this still compiles. Nope. Unknown type name. So the first one, UI.h. 105 could be UI win. UI win. Where is that type def? Not this way. Here. Okay, I will remove that type def after I fix this other one. So UI term. Oops. UI term. Yeah. No. UI terminal at H? Maybe? Nope. Probably in UI terminal.c. Type def struct UI term struct. I'm gonna do something different here. Struct. Okay, we'll just leave this as opaque for now, but that's okay. Can't type def here right now. Okay. Those are weird errors. 300. Yeah. $501, $503. What would be that? Um, 556. Firm to UI equals and UI win. Yeah, so this was where we were assigning the so before up here, all these function pointers were in this UI win member. We no longer have this UI win member, so we're not even dereferencing that. We just have a pointer. We can do that. And then this. I have not used NeoVim. It has like a few similarities, but yeah, I use this mostly because I like the SAM commands and like the multi-cursor stuff. There's like cool stuff we can do with like multi-cursor. So if I do this, let's actually do this down here where it was visible. So X style, comment that out. Where was that? 50. Stop a bit. Yeah, here. So X styles. So we can do this thing with like multi-cursor. Well, I don't like that either because it. So let's go here and do it. So X styles this UI. I can type it properly. There's still a bunch of them. Whatever. I didn't want to do that. Okay, anyways, yeah, there's too many instances of that in that file. But anyways, you can do like some stuff, some fast stuff with like multi-cursor, like editing. I did do it earlier when I was doing this, so I needed to add semicolons at the end of this, so you can just use like multi-cursor. That doesn't exist in Vim. You have to use you can use like you could use like you could record a macro and do it. But for a lot of edits, I would say that macros are like a little bit too it's like more complicated than it needs to be. So I would prefer to do it this way. And also, actually, while I'm here, I'm gonna do something else with this. I'm gonna line these all up. So let's make this a little bit nicer to read because it is not that nice to read yet at the moment. Yeah, so like that's one thing that's missing from NeoVim. But NeoVim's like a bit more widely used, so there's like a lot more plugins for NeoVim than there is for Vis. And there's some like really cool plugins for NeoVim, but since I haven't used it, I can't give any examples. So, oops, missed a semicolon. Is this function returns what? UI win pointer, yeah. So there we go. So that's compiled, and I assume everything here is fine. That's good. Um, so, okay. Oops, I need to update that comment. Okay, so with that, I can probably start deleting all of these function pointers now. So let me just add this as a save point. Um, remove up. Let's remove UI term and um, replace UI term with UI win. And clean remove function pointers. So I'll actually do the removing of the function pointers now. All right, thank you for stopping by, N17. So I want to start removing these functions. Let's start with these easy ones. Window width. This might be a little difficult to find where these are actually. The easy way to do it is to just delete this and then fix the errors. So 532. We have to add these as prototypes to here to UI.h. So start adding some prototypes. Or actually, we don't need the prototypes for that. So those functions, UI window width, those just return members which are now visible. So we will delete that altogether. And now we'll do this. So view.c 77. Don't need that anymore. It's just the width. We'll delete that. And then Lua. With height. width. Okay, so that. Get rid of those, that's nice. No more function pointers there. I think UI options get is the same thing, so UI options get options get. Delete that one. UI.h, delete this. Delete that one. Should only be in Lua as far as I'm aware, besides that one. So 518. I guess view. Right. This is a bit of a silly little pointer thing here, so we'll delete this as well, actually. View options get by go to that one. I'm going to actually replace that with a macro so that it is definitely inlined. Pound define this view v to UI v the UI to options or 0. Yeah, exactly that. And then where we're getting these errors, this command still at C279. Uppercase that. 288, 299, 310, 288, 299, 310, view options get, view options get, view options get. Okay. Now in view.c78, macro now in Lua we have to do quite a bit, but Maybe I'm gonna actually switch that macro around. So I don't want to put, I don't think it needs to dereference a view for that. So we're gonna actually get rid of this, and we're gonna do UI.h, UI options get, oops, UI, UI, or 0, view dot the view options get. That's going to be UI options get view to UI. So actually here we can just use the SAM commands to fix this. View options get. Select all of those. We'll change that to UI. Then we will go to here and we will go UI. That will be that. Now we have to go to this Lua. So view options get. Yeah, I can use SAM commands again for this. So view options get uppercase UI UI. Here we go. Now in vis.c, view options get. Oops. Yeah, it was annoying. Oh well, I'll fix that. 451 and 396. 396. Into view to UI. And or something. Win dash dash. 450 something. Here we go. Oh, interesting. I actually need to look at what that was. Original. Right. Original to view to UI. There we go. Cool. Okay, so there's that. Next. Next, we have why was this a pointer? I don't even know why this was a function pointer. Um, well, I don't know what that is, but we'll just delete that because I'm sure that doesn't need to be a pointer. We'll see where it complains here. So 516. 516. You delete that, but also we need to look at UI window status and see what's going on here. Yeah, so this doesn't need to be a pointer or a static. Gonna copy this directly into UI.h. It's up here. And then do a at. Anywhere where we're calling that, it should just be a like that. I don't know where we're going to be calling that, to be honest. This.c188. Oops. Where is this getting called? Because now it is just serving as like a wrapper for another function. I mean, it was doing that before as well. So I think we can just delete this and fix where that's getting called to use the UI. Open this .h200. Yeah, so here, instead of doing this, we'll do UI window status, and we'll do win to UI. And then that, and u.c156. UI window status, win to UI. Cool. That is that function gone, or that pointer gone, and a function gone that was being wrapped around it. Star.c, star.h. Oops. Yes, that is why I was not using that one. So next, I think we're just gonna have to replace like all of these functions. So style define, just see where the errors are and do it this way. 517, delete. Yeah, so that needs to be UI terminal.c. We need to take those. So 140. That is not going to be like that anymore. Not going to be hidden. Let's grab this. I'll just keep those sorted. So yeah. So view.c 1351, which might just be wrapping this function. Yeah, sure is. So we will delete this. So this is like where it's really starting to become clear that there's like a lot of just useless stuff going on when you have all these like opaque structs and function pointers and stuff. We like both of the last two functions have been had like multiple wrappers around getting to the same underlying function. Now at runtime, like maybe that doesn't matter so much, but especially like when you're debugging, it becomes really tedious really fast because you don't know, you can't just quickly look at the call site and know what's actually being called. You have to jump through like 3 different redirections before you can figure out what is being called. So if you're trying to fix something, that can be like really annoying. So we'll delete that, and now there will be a bunch more, or not. So this lua.c 1991. This is going to be UI style define, UI, and that was it. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. There's just like this wrapper function to call. So the UI, so yeah, so the UI itself was like opaque, or sorry, the view itself was used to be opaque, and then so it had to have this function in view to just be able to call this UI-style define, because normally you wouldn't be able to see this UI member. So then once that was removed, I could have removed this at that point, but whatever, I didn't. Now that that has been removed, so now we can remove this function, which is just 6 lines of nothingness, basically, and just replace it with this header, and we can also delete all these other things. This also means that at runtime we don't have to store like this function pointer, so this is also going to reduce like the runtime memory usage. So yeah, so colors are all still being defined just fine. If I set the theme to solarized, yeah. So like that style define function gets called whenever you try to do stuff like this. So there you go. That still works just fine. no problems there. Yeah, so we will go ahead and, oops. Star.c UI.h view.h. So there's now been 50 lines of code deleted, which brings the total like up even higher, right? Like git diff stat master 300. We now hit 300 lines of deleted code, which is always nice. In my head, deleted code is like, let's say, how would I put it? Deleting code is like almost more valuable than adding code in my head, because it means you realized that what you were doing was dumb and you were able to like restructure it to um, do exactly the same thing but with less code, which means it's more maintainable in the long run and potentially faster. In this case, it is faster. So next we'll delete yeah, next we'll just go to options set UI.h517 or somewhere around there. There's not 500 lines in this. Not UI terminal.c 511 517 somewhere there. So we delete that one. And then options set. Just get rid of the static here. And we will go UI.h. Grab this, go down here. And all sorted. Right. So go that and see where the compile errors are. Again, so there's another view.h and view.c wrapping function. Okay, never mind. Maybe there is not a wrapping function in this case. That's okay. So if UI options, oops, UI options set view to UI. Now I'm not sure why we're actually checking here if there's a. Okay, so there's a few options that are specific to the view. So there is a wrapper, but we're not going to remove that wrapper. We have to keep that so that it can do whatever it needs to do here, which is modify like a couple members of view, basically, but that's fine. UI window options set. I don't know if that's any different than, well, okay, maybe it is. View.c UI options set. We'll just leave that name for now. So there we go. It's good. Actually, this style set position was just added recently, but it called? Style set position. Okay, so get rid of this silly thing. Oops. $20.38. UI style, UI window style set position. Yeah, there we go. And then the last member of this function pointer table is UI window style set. UI window style set. Here we go. Copy this one. Oops. That first. Maybe I should just break these up so it's a little bit more clear about what's going on here. We'll do that. Fix wherever those bugs show up. So view.c. If UI window style set. Good. 1379. UI window style set. I'm gonna try to do this again and hopefully this doesn't blow up, but so X change UI window style set. Okay, that was good. Good. So that is that. Just deleted all of those function pointers and just replaced them with normal calls to the function. So now this function doesn't need to be, yeah, we don't need to store waste space storing pointers to functions that are only called in a couple places and are not going to be changed at runtime. So these, so we will add star.c and UI.h. Oops. Good. 54 lines. And we did that. Let's take a look here. How much smaller has this become now? So 9K, getting close to 10K. Nice. So replace UI term with UI and remove all the function pointers. Okay, so next, oh, that's not the right UI term win. The next thing to probably replace is UI term itself, which again is doing this weird thing. So this has a ton of function pointers that would be great to just remove. But UI term. Yeah, so let's open UI terminal.c and see what is in that giant struct. So editor instance to which this UI belongs. Let me think here. Yeah, really all of this can just get moved. This can all get moved as well. So what we will do here is drop all of that, drop that first member because that is dumb. And then this is all gonna go here. And we'll put a space here, but all of those are gonna be deleted. UI term is gonna be deleted. And we will have to do some replacing here. Let's see. These type defs. Let's just move these down here and see if there was some reason why these had to be in a specific order. So since I know I'm going to be removing all of these, I'm going to do this for now. Struct UI, UI. Now in here, everywhere where we've just typed UI pointer, it needs to be struct UI pointer. UI star get changed to struct UI star. Now this is going to be, all of these are going to be deleted anyways, but this will just make sure that this can still compile with me removing that first thing. So after I'm done that, I'll probably delete this name as well. Now, UI term is no more, and UI win, UI win, if we define that up here, instead, we can do this. And we need to keep this name here so that I can do this. Well, since that's happening, we'll do that. Oh, but this has a pointer to a UI. How annoying. So I need to leave this typedef UI up here for now. Maybe I'll see if I can. I will see if I can delete that. Oh, and also these headers might need these defines. But we will just see if that complains in a second here. Which means this needs to remain as struct UI for now. Right. UI terminal.c, UI.h. Oops. Found define UI max width, UI max height. While I'm doing that, and then this will get changed to UI max width. And we'll see if there's some complaining going on after this. Yeah. Good. So that will be the first function pointer I just delete in a second here. Because that is annoying. So 67 UI win. Oh, right. If I do that trick, I can get away with type defing it after. Also, though, those headers, which are including other headers, need to be done after those defines, which I would like to delete at some point, but for now, it will have to stay. Yeah. So this has to go after this. And this can just be forward declared. And I can make this a struct UI pointer. In which case we don't need to do that. We don't line up with other ones. And then we can type def this. UI. And then info pointer. I'm gonna call it this. It's gonna get deleted anyways, so. Or maybe this is info show. but I'll just do that for now for readability, but it will be deleted. So UI.h94. So we need cells. Where is cell defined? Cell is probably defined in some random place. Like probably in the file itself. Um, Interesting. This is why I don't like including headers from other headers, because it's not clear where anything goes once you start doing this. Well, this can just get moved, most likely to here, where it's kind of where it belongs anyways. Yeah, that's okay. Unknown type name this. Unknown type name win. Is vis.h. Let's see here. Vis.h probably doesn't need. Vis.h probably doesn't need most of this, so maybe that one can go first. Maybe neither of those need anything from here, to be honest. Good, good, good. So basically this.h is depending upon ui.h, but ui.h is depending on this.h. So we have some nice circular dependency here. To work around this, I am going to have to forward declare this, which is annoying, but that is how it has to be done. Oops. I can't do this anymore. Oops. I've never actually had this warning before, so this is a new one for me, but unknown type name cell, but cell was type deft above it in ui.h, right? Wait, which file's including that? Included from main.c. So main.c is missing. Realistically, I want to delete this whole thing. So let's open UI.h and we're gonna remove this into here. And we'll change this one. We'll just remove UI terminal.h altogether. -f. And we have to do a clean here. Included from vis.h, included from UI.h, included from vis.h. This is a hard one. I'm gonna stand up and stretch for a second and we will see. Yeah, this is well, this is quite an annoying problem to be honest. So yeah, one of the things I don't really like about C is the idea of multiple translation units for the compiler. So I'm gonna delete that. I'm not gonna delete that. I'm gonna open UI.h and delete this include. Actually, can I even do that? Because I think there's a vis pointer, so I can't do that. Yeah. How do we solve this? So the error specifically is when view, so Yeah, so this.h includes view.h, which when it's being included, um, has not yet included, or sorry, cells has not yet been defined when this view.h is included here, even though this UI, even though this includes UI.h. Um, so the level of interdependency here is really, really annoying. Um, Maybe what I should do is leave these both at the end and forward declare this uh, oops, wherever that is needed. And see what this causes. See what kind of havoc this causes. If I remember to retype def the UI. Um, yes. It's not just two codependent headers. They're like they're massively like intertwined. Um, so yeah, it's a little difficult here to just untangle them. This is like definitely one of the things I really, really don't like about C or any C-like languages for that matter. So can't do that. Uh, yeah, I can fix that because this pointer is just gonna get deleted anyways. That function pointer, this function pointer, same thing. This win is in um that's up here. So let me move this up here. I'll just use struct this pointer for all of these. It doesn't matter. Struct win pointer. Okay. Yeah, that header is deleted. And that is correct. So UI term is no longer a thing, so we have to go ahead and start deleting all of those. And I also realized that I guess I didn't have to fix these. I meant to open this and the other one. And not UI terminal. So in here, anywhere where UI term is being used, we are now just using UI. UI term TUI, so it's just UI, UI, Y, I, UI, static, UI, size of UI, UI. Good. That will be that one. And then UI term. Why is this a separate struct? Who knows? I'll delete that after. That is some ugly going on there. Okay, so UI term. Once again, we have to start deleting these things. So this wants to take a TUI. It's this. So actually, yeah, I think CIW. Well, it will delete the whole word, right? It doesn't just delete the. Isn't it? It would be change E, or like yeah, change E or DE. Oh yeah. So you're right, but it's just I need to like check all of these. So some of them are doing stuff like this. But that changes the whole word, right? Um, oops. Uh, this one we want TUI. This one I want TUI, and also this function is going to be deleted at some point. This one I want TUI as well. TUI, TUI. Oops. TUI, TUI. TUI. Oops. TUI. 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 UI. 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 Okay. EUI. Okay, so that should be all of those ones. And those were renamed. Yeah, so that was renamed to info show for now, but it will be deleted. 664 info show. $346 UI arrange UI 372 372 so first of all, let's do this, okay. $572, $573, and $614. 572. UI die message. UI. Oops. 60. 602. 6. Okay. UI, TUI, TUI. Here is this one. Should be TUI. Oops. TUI. TUI. Oh, there's another one I saw, but 626. TUI. Okay, so this prompt C. I have to stop soon. I'm getting a little tired. Info show. There we go. Okay. So now that all compiles with a bunch of annoying foreign declarations of nonsense. But everything still seems to work fine, which is good. So let me add this. There's a lot of changing, but that's fine. We will add star.c ui.h view.h. Replace UI term with UI and delete function pointers. They'll have to do next. Yeah, it's looking good. Let's have a look, see at how much have we deleted? Okay. So not quite 10K yet worth of binary, compiled binary data. Almost, we're getting there. And if stat master. So 332 lines have been deleted so far. And that will just be more once we start deleting all those function pointers. Nice, nice, nice. Cool. So, oops. I think that's going to be it for me for now. I'll have a look and see if there is anyone live, but I will probably come back on a little later in the afternoon. Yeah, let's see. See if anyone is doing some weird programming that's interesting. What's going on here? 6502 assembly. NES code. I think what we will do is we will raid this guy. So thank you everyone for watching. And I will probably come back later this afternoon, depending on how I'm feeling. For now, we'll go watch this guy who's doing some 60502 assembly, which is programming for the NES specifically, though the 6502 is obviously not limited to the NES. Yeah, cool.